What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Foxy. Welcome back to the Fox's Den. Getting into another reaction. Hell's Paradise Season 2, Episode 3. Immutability and Change. If I even pronounced that word correctly in the episode title. Off of what we just saw in Episode 2 a couple days ago, it seems that Gabimaru is slowly but surely regaining his memories, and his towel is starting to look more normal from at the very end of the episode. We also have Aza, who has been separated from his brother, and we have his brother in custody right now. Not really, I guess you could call it custody because he's, we got his hands tied up, he's not saying anything. Obviously very bummed because he's separated from his brother, and he's realized that he's probably been holding him back. Not even really holding him back, but like weighing him down. Like his brother Chobe does most of the fucking work. And Aza is in this ravine where he's trying to practice and learn more about his Tao and like gain it under control, fighting whatever monsters were down there at the time. And then right at the end, we see one of the Tensen, which is this, it seems like the main Tensen. I don't know if there's like a leader among them or what, but he pulls up on him. And he's like, oh, an outsider. Were you the one that killed so-and-so? Which is the Tensen that Sagari and them defeated. Sagari and, Shion, Yuzihiro, all them. He's thinking that maybe Chobe is the one that took him out. That's not the case. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is Chobe is potentially going to learn from this guy because, the Tensen's probably going to learn quickly that he has these immortal properties just like they do as Tensen, and maybe he's on the path to becoming a Tensen. Who knows if he's going to be accepting and be like, okay, yeah, I'll show, I'll teach you a thing or two, and like, yeah, come to where we are. And then Chobe gets even stronger and learns exactly what he wants to learn, which is how to control his Tao more and use it to his disposal and not lose control where he potentially kills his brother, which he almost did. Or is it going to be like a thing where he realizes this is somebody that he can learn from, but the guy's not going to be accepting and like, nah, I'm not going to teach you, the fuck, like, I don't know you. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. And then obviously we have these other shinobi from Iwakagure and those two Asaimon that are supposed to be coming back to the island. When are they going to pop up? Once they do, is Gabimaru going to recognize them? I'm sure he will, since they're from the same village. I don't know if he like knows the individuals themselves, or if he's just gonna realize like, yeah, okay, we're from the same place, and they didn't really interact with each other much. But regardless, it's good that he's finally starting to get his memories back, and it seems like he's starting to get a head back on his shoulders, and he's finally starting to remember what he fights for, what he lives for, which is his wife, which is what pushes him a long way, and really like balances his Tao and makes it complete. So that's where we're at. So far, so good for Season 2. It's been a good watch in these first 2 episodes, and I can't wait to watch more. So let's get into the 3rd episode. If you guys enjoy the reaction, please like down below, comment, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so the next one's dropping. Let's get into it. Hell's Paradise Season 2, Episode 3. Okay, we're getting right back where we left off, where you pulled up on Chobe. Like it was nothing. See, he's gonna realize that he regenerated. Okay, so yeah, he's taking an interest in him already just off of seeing that he can regenerate. All right, here we go. So they just let him go. Interesting.
材料は限られていますが、簡易的な解熱剤を作りましょう。その代わりメイさん、あなたや天仙様について詳しくお聞かせください。仲間の死を経て、ようやく事の重大さに気づきました。あなたたちは何者で、何が目的か。
The death of his family member was Senta his family? They were related? Shorty Maru.
戦いの勘がなまってな。だから肩慣らしがしたい。この俺を練習台にする。
He's taking disrespect to that.
お主が一番憎んでるのはわしだろ。殺したいなら殺す気で来ていい。先生がやるなら俺も。
Alright, so they're all serious. This is going to be good practice for him. Man, woman. Yeah, clearly.
他の者にも勝てない。手伝ってくれてありがとう。早い。
He can't even touch him. Just feeling the towel energy. Yep. Woo! Bro, he's barely using like physical strength. So imagine he combines the physical strength with his feeling of his Tao, which he's trying to learn right now. Bruh, nah. He's about to be unstoppable. Damn!
向けられた力が強ければ強いほど利用すれば反動も大きくなる。天仙様自身のタオを利用できれば対抗策になる。
Oh wow, that's even possible?
いや、まだだ。課題は山とある。
おそらくタオには種類がある。それぞれの属性と相性。
種類。
これを活用すれば不死者も殺せる。
He's about to ask him to teach him how to fight. Yep, look at that. He's tired of holding his brother back. He wants to be able to survive on his own without having to constantly rely on his brother, which is what he's pretty much done his whole life. Damn, cut his hair off. Alright, bet. He still plans on trying to kill these guys later? Okay.
どうしては比べ物にならねえ。あいつと同類か。人間をターンへと変質させるワイタンファ。お前のターンはそれに侵食されながら自我を保っている。とても珍しい。
What the fuck?
もう少し調べよう。
Holy shit. Oh, so he's about to just use it again. Fuck it. Dude, he's not gonna touch him still, though. And they can transform in some way, too. Oh, wow, he actually wrapped him up his arm. Okay, that's a step in the right direction, at least in the direction that he wants to go. He's retaining his consciousness. Oh my god. Ooh! The raining blood. Oh my god, bro. Bruh.
なんてことだ。ワイタンファのタを解放してなおそれを制御している。こんな例は見たことがない。美しい。
Oh my god. Okay, that's what I thought. He's gonna be ending up going to the place where all the other Tensen are. Ooh! Knocked him the fuck out. He's about to take him back with him. Oh man. He's gonna be learning all kinds of things. Same person, but they switched into female for some reason? Well, he better fuck him. Yo.
いや違う。防虫術だ。タオにはそれぞれ属性がある。木、火、土、金。
Wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.
属性はそれぞれ影響し合う。
Usually it's like earth and wind, but there's two different ones. Instead of earth, it's wood, and then there's metal.
質問に答えろ。この島は何だ。お前ら島で何してる。
彼女の話では、テンセン様もこの島も一人の人間が
Both the Tensen and the island were made by a single human.
大陸のとある高名な法師。彼は新鮮思想に基づき不老不死を研究していました。生物のタオ同士を掛け合わせ、継ぎ替え、試行錯誤を繰り返し、不死を目指した。
Through trial and error, swapping towels between different creatures.
人と植物のタオを融合させた彼らは雌雄同体。陰陽によるタオの増強が一人でできる。体質や修行に関係なく、誰でも不死になれる方法。例えば、その薬など作る試みを外炭法という。テンセン様はこれを作っているそうです。
それって The elixir of life.
やっぱあるの？彼らの言う炭とは研究過程の試作品。
Developed through research.
人のごとく集め、他をすなわち生命力を効率よく摂取する。他の人から奪った寿命を自分に付与するような感じでしょう。
Okay, yeah, so they're stealing humans' life energy to stay immortal.
タウの自給自足も完全ではないのでしょう。
修復法師の意志。誰？
Grandmaster Shufu.
この島を作った法師です。
Oh, that's who that was.
すなわち女服。真の時代は始皇帝に仕え、不老不死を求めて3000の使女と100の技術者を連れて東方の海へと旅立ち、その後行方知れずとなった。
So this is where they ended up.
およそ1000年以上前の人物です。
Over 1,000 years ago.
研究を続けているとか。
Okay, so what if that person they're talking about is this person right here? This is him, the Tensen. This is what he's become.
あの化け物どもみんな人工的に作られた生き物ってことか。
そうだ。各々に実験上の目的がある。創始のタオと花のタオを掛け合わせた。
The Grandmaster's towel and the flower towel.
家族であり、私自身だ。
Wait, that was May, was it not?
簡単にできんのか。
世のすべてを形作る。
We're getting a lot of lore this episode, dude. What is with the third episode of each show that's going on right now? JJK episode 3, lore, plot. Fire Force season 3, part 2, episode 3, lore, plot. Hell's Paradise season 2, episode 3, lore, plot.
お前のタオは貴重なのだ。今度の人間すべてだ。
Everyone on the mainland.
そのための準備は整っている。単にはせず、共に先導を極める仲間として。
You can join us on the path to perfection.
最も賢い選択案なんだ。
I mean, if you don't agree, they're just gonna kill you.
無理だ。逃げるのも厳しい。もっと優先すべきはなんだ。それでタオが使いこなせるようになるならな。だが上に乗られんのは趣味じゃねえ。
I don't like being on the bottom.
優しくしてやる。
状況には抗わず適合する。適合して飲み込んでやる。
Adapt and consume.
待って、ちょっと。
これはどういうことですか？
私の体不完全。タを使うと熟進む。愛種壊されたから。リエンと私。
First students made by Grandmaster Shufu. That's what I thought. As he was talking to Chobei, it showed him and Mei like around young Tensen, like babies.
私のタオを使うといい。テンセン様はタオを自在に操る。生物のタオを抜き出し、自分のタオにすることもできるはず。彼女と出会ったのは数百年前。
Several centuries ago.
私には妻と一人娘がいた。二人とも私より先に受化してしまった。村の者も次第に受化していき、私は一人になった。
He found
年
her.
格好が似てただけ。それだけだが、娘に見えた。私の
Damn.
幼い娘に本当は島を出たがっている。
She wanted to leave the island. Wow, what a interesting relationship between these two.
彼 家族の真似事を続けてしまった。
Pretend to be a
どう
family.
か許してほしい。
Damn.
私は君ではなく娘の身で、どうかこの命使ってほしい。
Wow. So sad.
嘘じゃない。本当の夢みたいだった。親子みたいだった。
Damn. She's young again. An ancient language. Goodbye, father. Wow. What an episode, dude. Holy shit. This guy.
あんなのに剣は教わるんですか？
ながらでいいから聞いてくれ。
先生。
Sensei.
今後のことを決めてみたんだが。おいこら猫丸、なんでお前
Gabimaru.
お主よりは適任だろ。
どうした？
She's sensing something. Oh shit. Okay, so there's multiple more Simon that came with him. Oh damn. And it's a fuck ton from the fucking Shinobi village. I thought it was just a couple. I mean, those 4 are probably the main Shinobi, but they got a whole rack of them with him. Oh my god. Brother. Holy shit. Damn, that was such a good episode. Oh my god. Alright guys, what another amazing episode of Hell's Paradise. We got a lot of lore and like plot and like background info in this episode, which I mentioned during the reaction. It seems to be a trend with these new seasons that are airing with their 3rd episodes. Like that's where all the lore is. It's always, it's in the number 3, the lucky number 3, man. Jujutsu Kaisen episode 3 got nothing but lore and plot and info. Fire Force season 2 or season 3 part 2 episode 3 got a lot of plot and info and background info from, like, you know, Shinra and Sho's mother, their family, the Great Cataclysm, etc., etc. And then this episode we got a lot in terms of the history on how this island came about and what Tan and Tao is and how they, you know, created all this stuff, or that at least the one person did. In the very beginning of the episode, we see the blonde Simon, who apparently said that his family is Senta. I think that's who he was talking about. But we see him let the Dochi go, which is that, like, just all he had left was just his torso, and he just crawled away. So they actually let him go, which is interesting. And then he ends up making medicine and trying to help Mei, which obviously that medicine wasn't going to work regardless because her Tao is messed up since that one Tensen with the purple hair took her oval, is what she said, I think, later in the episode. But then we also see Gabimaru, you know, he's finally regained his memories, but he's like, yo, you know, my battle senses are not quite in tip-top shape, you know, help me practice. And he literally has all of the 4 of them, Shion, the big tall guy, I can't remember his name at the moment, Tomu, I think his name is Chobei's brother, and then the short character that be following Shion. They all 4, you know, kind of try and, you know, attack Gabimaru, and he handles them swiftly by using, or just feeling Tao, and barely using any physical power behind it. So imagine he starts to master Tao, and then he does put the physical power behind it too, like punching or kicking as hard as he can. Oh, dude, it's over with. Like, this guy, yeah, Gabimaru is like our best hope. This guy is so fucking strong. And then Tomu, actually, I think that's his name, Tomu, right? I might be butchering it. It might be like Tomei or something. I think it's Tomu, though. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He actually requests to be trained fighting with the sword by the tall dude, because he uses a sword as well. Because he wants to be able to survive on his own. He doesn't want to, you know, he no longer wants to be a hindrance to his older brother, because he's always done the majority of the fighting and they've always relied on each other, especially Tomu probably a little bit more relying on Chobei or Aza, more so than Aza relying on Tomu. that's just how it's always been, and they've never really had an issue with that, and they've never, that's all they've needed. So he recognizes that he needs to get stronger if he wants to be able to survive on his own, and he's separated from his brother. And who knows what's going to happen once they reunite, because Tomu at the moment is with us, and he said himself too after he requested to be trained by that guy, like, I can kill these guys later. So clearly he's not trustworthy, but how, is he going to start to like open up and like welcome like being on our side and want to be more a part of that? Then once he reunites with his brother, who knows if he's going to feel the same way, because his brother's going to probably change a lot. He's going to become this Tensen, and then who knows, what other views he has once he runs into a Tensen himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could very possibly go their separate ways depending on how long they're separated from each other and the different experiences that they're having. Because Tomu doesn't have this same, immortality and whatnot that happened with this flower that Aza ran into in season 1, and is somehow learning how to control it. And this Tensen takes a very big interest in Chobei, and Chobei actually ends up taking out the clone and sort of going into this like monster form again, but actually retaining his consciousness, at least for a short amount of time, and he started to lose himself again towards the end, and realized that he had to like release it. But before even releasing it, the Tensen knocks him out and then brings him to wherever they're at and has him tied down to this bed, and is very interested in his Tao energy. He wants to gain a deeper understanding by circulating their Tao. So they're about to perform Bochujutsu, which is basically just having sex. And he goes on to explain different things, and like Bochujutsu is ineffective without harmony between both parties, etc., etc. And then, obviously Aza takes this as an opportunity to answer questions that he has about this island and the Tensen in general. And this is where we start to get a lot of the info from two different points of views, from the Blonde Simone questioning May and May answering the questions, which makes so much sense because May is apparently among the first, along with the purple hair Tensen that's currently with Aza. Those two were the first students of the Grand Master, which is this person from like 1,000 years ago who, took like 3,000 children and 100 like whoever and brought them to this island and started experimenting with Tao energy, and that's how all this stuff started to come about, like just through trial and error, research and development. That's who it started with. And May and the purple haired Tensen, I can't remember their name at the moment, but those two were the first, and we saw a little scene of them like together, like looking like really happy and intrigued by the younger Tensen, is what it seemed to be. They were all babies at the time, newly created ones. And we get a lot more of like the information on like what these experiences were, like the fusion of human and plant Tao. They are both female and male. That's how that comes about, because it's both human and plant Tao. They've continuously, tempered with their Tao for 1,000 years, and the only way to stop them is by using Tao itself. And so there's another thing too, that there's some sort of concoction that they can create, which they're trying to create, which, so it's not fully developed yet, but that's the elixir of life that we're searching for, is that they're currently trying to develop it, which I think they're trying to use humans' life energy to create it. Another thing too that they've been experimenting with is Tan, which I think is the life energy of a human, as I was just saying. Whenever they're basically like how they keep on like surviving and like living for so long. It's not like their Tao is like immeasurable. Like what they're trying to create is that, which is like the perfection of Tao, where they no longer need to continue to gain sustenance. Whereas now they do need to continue to gain sustenance by stealing the life energy of another creature or a human. I think it's mainly humans, which it's basically stealing the human's lifespan and adding it to their own. So they're just continuing to add, more lifespan on top of themselves. So it's not infinite. What they're trying to create is what they want, which is the infinite source of life. That's why using large amounts over a short period kills them. Okay, so we got a lot of information this episode. And once they perfect it, they don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, 3,000 children from good families. He lived over 1,000 years ago. perhaps he's still conducting his research on the island. So it's they open up a possibility that this person still exists from 1,000 years ago that started all this, the Grand Master Jofuku or whatever his name is. So that's what made me think at first, maybe like, oh, maybe this purple-haired Tensen, maybe that's who that is. Maybe the purple-haired Tensen is Jofuku. Because I'm thinking, you know, I've been questioning like whether there's like a leader among the Tensen or not. But definitely we at least know for sure that the purple-haired Tensen and Mei were the very first. They were the two first Tensen created by the Grandmaster and kind of his students, so to speak. But for whatever reason, this Tensen, the purple-haired one, and Mei had a different, I guess, understand or just points of views. And maybe like Mei just didn't like taking the lives of others, and she like yearns to leave the island. Yeah, so the Tensen are a combination of the Grandmaster's Tao and Flower Tao. And this is where we see this scene where there's like a bunch of babies, and it's like all the Tensen that we've seen in this paradise place, just as babies, very young. And Mei and the purple-haired one are like nurturing them and very excited, like, you know, seeing them like in their cribs or something like that. And then yeah, the Tensen basically is explaining like why, like this is kind of why Chobei's or Aza's Tao is very valuable and wants to research it. And that's where he questions turning everyone on the island into elixirs of immortality. And no, we have prepared for that. He's talking about like turning all the people on the mainland into the elixir of immortality, which is funny and ironic because the Shogun is searching for that. But you're going to be part of the juice or the source of energy for that elixir. You're not going to get that elixir. The Tensen are the ones that want it. Man, this was very, very good. This is very, very good. There's a lot of good information here. And Aza has decided to adapt and consume. And he, you know, continues on and, you know, gets going with the Bochujutsu with this Tensen. So we'll see how that goes and how they circulate their Tao and what happens to him after from here on. And then we see that Mei's body is imperfect, and that's why she's turning into a tree because she can't heal herself. You know, too little Tao, not enough to circulate, blah, blah, blah. Because the purple-haired Tensen took her oval. First students of the Grand Master, but Rien changed. Oh, that's the purple-haired Tensen's name, Rien. Killed many for Gai Tanho, which is the elixir that they're trying to create. So, yeah, along the way, he changed, or Rien changed, I guess, in terms of like personality and goals, and Mei couldn't agree with it, so Rien cast her aside. And that's why she's living with this tree, or the, you know, I can't remember what they're called, but some sort of person that turns into a tree. And they lived a pretty quiet life, but like, you know, sort of were a family, and that's how this tree starts to go on, that he had a wife and daughter centuries ago, and he was the only one left at one point. And once he met Mei, he took her in, and it reminded him of his daughter. He knew there was something different about her, but he just ignored that so they could pretend to be a family, at least in his head, and it, you know, it really made him happy. So this is a very emotional moment, and Mei like accepts all of that, like it wasn't a lie, like, you know, we really were a family, and you really were like a father to me. And she says exactly that as she takes the rest of his Tao energy, you know, he dissipates, and it saves her. And then she says goodbye, father, in like an ancient language. What a fucking episode. It was really, really, really good. A lot of info and lore in this one. I mean, there's so much good stuff to come. And as we see at the very end in the end credit, the tall guy comes back. He's like, no, you shrank again. Like, cause he was quite fond of her in her, you know, older form. She looked very pretty, blah, 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 blah. Kind of a funny moment there. And then Gabimaru and Shion discussed their plans, which they're kind of the leaders of the group. And then Mei, since somebody is here, and we see the few Isaimon, which there's the two that we saw that talked to the Shogunate about coming back to the island with Iwakagure Shinobi. And then there's two additional Isaimon that have joined, and then a full big group of Shinobi, which I thought it was only going to be 4 of them because it only showed 4 of them in the beginning of the show or the season, where it was like, you know, black and white, and it showed like 4 Shinobi. Those are probably the main strongest ones, but there's a whole fucking rack of them. It's like a whole unit. I mean, I doubt it's the entire village, but there's a lot of them. And it says, you know, and then May's like, yeah, they're very strong, and that's where the episode ends. So they have made it on the island. So we're very close to getting into some probably interesting battles. I doubt we're gonna work together with them because they have no idea what's been happening on this island in 3 days and how many people have died. And they're probably, you know, the Asaimon that are with the Shinobi are probably gonna be like, you know, like, what are you other Asaimon that have survived working with these criminals for? It's like, motherfucker, you weren't on this island. What? But I guarantee you that's how it's gonna go. Oh my god, you're working with criminals? Let's kill them. That's probably what's gonna happen. But hey, amazing episode. Couldn't ask for more. Really good stuff. A lot of lore and plot in this one. So that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. Another good episode down. We have to wait for next week for the next one. If you guys enjoyed it, please like down below, comment, subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell so the next one's dropping. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good. Deuces.